Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel today. If you're new here, my name is Jason. I do buy and sell video games. I also collect vintage toys, and I do a little reselling on the side to pay for those. If you have noticed lately, if you do sell on eBay, the sales have been pretty crappy, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Personally, I've pivoted a lot of my sales to Facebook Marketplace just because I like dealing in cash. I don't like paying a middleman like eBay for their service. Now, for certain items, eBay is the go-to. You have a much wider audience, of course. The thing I've noticed lately is there's a certain set of items that you can put on Facebook Marketplace and you can sell. They'll sell really quick and you'll get good money for them. And you can do it locally and get cash in hand. Now, if you clicked on this video to see what to sell on Facebook Marketplace and how to get started, you came to the right place. We're going to get right into it. So, Facebook Marketplace, very easy, guys. You click on the little house icon on Facebook. You go to Marketplace. You go into Selling on the left-hand side. You click that, and then you just go through the steps. And you click on that, upload your picture, description, put it in the proper category. You're done. Takes about 20 seconds or so. It's not too bad. What I like about Facebook Marketplace is you can hide the listings from your friends so you don't bombard them with notifications about posting items online. And that I noticed at the beginning, a lot of my friends, I was getting a lot of notifications about that. So just a little tip for you there. Now, I will tell you what I have been selling on Facebook Marketplace lately, what categories they are. I'll give you a little bit of range of prices on some things. I'm not going to get too in depth on the prices. These are things you can Google and find out the prices yourself very easily, guys. First category I will say is general sports merchandise. And what I mean by this is I'm talking about baseball equipment, hockey equipment, the major sports. There is a market for this, especially people with children that are going through growth spurts. They need skates, they need cleats. Catcher's equipment is a big one to keep an eye out for. It still holds its value. Hockey sticks, hockey bags, helmets, thing like that. The prices have went up quite a bit lately, and you can even broaden this category to go into like kayaks, paddles, canoes, any sort of outdoor sports as well. I found this category very lucrative, especially the footwear aspect of it. Kids' feet are always growing. They always need new skates every year, it seems. So it's just a category to keep an eye out on. You can pick this stuff up at yard sales extremely cheap. And a lot of times you can actually pick it up for free. People will not sell them at yard sales and put them on. I don't understand it, guys, but sometimes an item just doesn't have the right eyes on it at a yard sale. But on Facebook Marketplace, the eyes get on it and you can sell it. The next category I would say is general household goods. I've done really well on, and by household goods, I mean pictures, appliances, especially small appliances. Now we're talking about Instapots, Keurigs, magic bullets, blenders, whatever the hell it is, coffee makers, doesn't matter, guys. Those little appliances people need, and they will always look for a deal on good, clean appliances. People need them. They're always going to use them and need them. They don't last as long as they used to, so there's always a turnover there. And again, these are things, guys, you go out to yard sales, you pick them up for $1 or $2. People are usually trying to just get rid of them. You'll oftentimes see them on the side of the road for free too. And you can turn around and sell. Now, a lot of them you're not going to sell for a ton, but these are items you can probably get, $20, $30 for, $40. And it's an easy profit when you're really not spending much on it. And they are easy to find, and a lot of resellers will pass these up. But you can be the one that corners the market on this. A lot of times resellers will pass these up. They don't want to ship them on eBay and stuff. So you can really pick them up and sell them locally, guys. It's really easy. Next up I will say is media, guys. Now, this can be hit or miss just depending on what your goals are. If you're looking to get the absolute most out of your media, you want to put it on eBay probably, because a lot of the media you will find is very common stuff and people aren't going to pay up for it. Now, a system I use is when I go to yard sales or on free days, I just try to only buy movies I think I can put on eBay that are in mint condition and that. However, you will see deals come up where there's a whole big box of movies and there's like a few good ones in it, but it's really cheap. I'll usually buy it. I'll take the good ones out. I'll put them on eBay and I'll sit on those. And then I'll just make some big lots and put it back on Marketplace. And I can usually sell them for more than I paid. So you're coming out ahead. Tend to buy big lots of DVDs, CDs, cassettes on Marketplace. They don't tend to buy 1 or 2 movies at a time or, a cassette. It's just not the way Marketplace is. And that's my advice to you. Be prepared. If you want to move media on Marketplace, you can. but you're gonna have to put it in lots, put a decent price on it. People will buy them, guys. Don't try to sell them singularly. It's really a pain in the ass and it's not worth your time. You just sit on it. Okay guys, we'll move right along to the next category. Now this is musical instruments and amplifiers. I have had good luck buying and selling both on Marketplace with these. Whether it's a cheaper guitar or a cheap amp for kids to learn, these are always turning over. When you go on Marketplace, you will see some of them listed on there. I have literally bought tons of these small amps for 10 bucks, and you could turn around and sell them for $30 to $50, guys, pretty easy. I recently just sold one of my personal amps for a few $100 on it. So it's not hard to sell a decent guitar. Now, I don't know about the high-end stuff. I'm talking about, you know, the learning stuff or the cheap Fender Strats and stuff, not the expensive high-end ones. For the guitars, you want to keep it under a couple $100, and that's in most people's wheelhouse if their kids are learning or they're learning. And that's usually who you're going to sell stuff to. You know, someone's like, you know what, I want to learn guitar. You know, I'm going to pick up this acoustic guitar for, you know, $50, $100 or something and take a crack at it. And a lot of the times they can't learn on it, and then they sell it again for almost nothing, and then you pick it up and sell it again, guys. The horns and stuff, I don't think there's a big market for that. I haven't really got into it personally. It might be something worth looking into, I don't know. But guitars, amplifiers, stuff like that, it's easy money, guys. Don't sleep on that category. Okay, guys, next category. This is going to be one of your easiest categories to sell in, and one of your highest profit margins in my opinion, and it is digital cameras and camcorders. Now you don't see these as frequently at yard sales, but they do come up. I've probably found about 10 this year myself at yard sales. I've sold every one of them like that. Now these are good because you can sell them on eBay or you can sell them locally. Pros and cons to both. eBay, you probably get a little bit more, but you will pay a lot in fees for them, of course. Locally, you can take a little bit less. You can get cash and just invest that in something else is what I would suggest. Now, the digital cameras that I tend to look for are 8 megapixels and up, and I'm talking about the Sony CyberShot, the Canon, I think it's the PowerShot they call that. There's the Nikon Coolpix. Some of the older 35mm Kodak stuff, I don't seem to get much money for those. I would suggest not bothering with those. There might be a few that are worth money and you might want to look into it, but look into the strictly digital stuff. As for the camcorders, people are still buying those. You can get good money for some of them. Even the film camcorders, some of them are selling, especially the old Sony and JVC ones, the bigger fat ones. So when you're at a yard sale, you know, you can always scan these. To me, I just picked them up because I've never had one sit, and I've never really had a problem selling them, guys. You know, if you see something for $5 or $10, I would just automatically pick it up because it's probably going to be worth a minimum of 20, but it's going to be worth a lot more than that most of the time. They're really easy to store. You can buy a lot of them, and if you keep your eye out, you can still find these quite abundantly, guys. You make easy money on Marketplace with it. The next category, guys, is going to be a broad one, and it's going to be vintage electronics. This could be anything from older stereo receivers. Even some of the big cabinetry stuff is coming back into style now. You know, it could be a record player. Things I've sold a lot of personally is the old vintage clock radios, the Sony Walkmans, even other off-brand Walkmans from back in the 80s. And even the Discmans too. Now, these things have made a huge surge lately, especially the Walkmans and Discmans, guys. People want these, they collect them, they'll buy them whether they're broke or not. Now, if you do go out and buy one and it happens to be broken when you get it home, list it on eBay for cheap, guys, and sell it. You'll still make some money. Or sometimes what I do, I will make a lot of them. I'll just sit on them and then sell them on eBay, you know, for like $100 or something. Use your own judgment on that one. They still make a ton of money on Marketplace. I can't tell you how many Walkmans I've bought for $1 or $2 and turned around and sold for like 50 or 60 bucks, guys. It's probably the easiest money you'll make, and you can still find these prevalently out in the wild. Now we're gonna get into the very last category. This is my favorite category, and this is one I sell the most in, and probably that I know the most about. And it is video game consoles. Now, don't confuse this with regular video games. I've found selling video games on Marketplace hit or miss, especially the vintage stuff. And if you want to get top dollar for certain titles, I would be listing those on eBay, guys. That's my own opinion. The shovelware, if you want to put them in a bundle, yeah, throw those up in Marketplace for a decent deal for someone. Absolutely do that. Otherwise, I don't think it's going to be worth your time selling regular games on Marketplace. Now, as for the consoles, you want to price your stuff competitively, guys. I see a lot of people put these on Marketplace. They'll be trying to get eBay prices for them, and it's just silliness. Or they'll put, oh, it goes for this on price charting, blah, blah. No one on Marketplace gives a shit about price charting, guys. You have to understand that. Marketplace people are still mostly looking for deals. They're not necessarily the types that are going to pay up. If you want those types, definitely eBay or other online selling platforms is the way to go. So the consoles I typically sell on there, guys, PlayStation 4s do really well for me now. Not huge dollar items. You know, you can expect between $50 and $70 if you want to move these in a timely fashion. That's how I do it. You know, a little trick with these, if you want to bundle some of your shovelware games that aren't really worth anything to entice a buyer, you might want to do that too to move it out even quicker. That's just up to you. The Nintendo Wii U's sell really good for me. We're usually in around $90 for just the unit itself, guys. You really can't go wrong with that. You can usually find these in bundles with a bunch of Wii U games, and if you collect Wii U games like I do, it's perfect because I can buy the bundle, keep the games, and sell the console itself. Because I already have a boxed Wii U, I don't really need another one. I might try to pick up a white one down the road, but for now I'm not too worried about it. So for some of the older consoles, you're probably not going to get quite as much money as you think. Some of the older, like Sega Genesis, regular Nintendo, stuff like that, you know, you're going to be $50 to $75 on those. Now, if you do pick them up in bundles and cheap and you want to flip them, yeah, no problem there. They're not big dollar items per se, and you usually can't find them that cheap anyways, guys. And really, guys, the king of Facebook Marketplace, and it has been for me for about 3 years, is actually the Nintendo Wii, because they are still in high demand. People sell them at yard sales cheap. You can find them all the time during summer. I've found quite a few this summer and sold every stinking one of them. And it's also in your benefit when you buy these and they have an extra controller with them or extra games. Just throw the controllers and the parts and stuff in a bin, because you're always going to see these out and about where they're missing like a nunchuck or a controller or a battery plate off a controller, or, you know, or the sensor bar or anything. Keep all that stuff in a little tote. You'll thank me later. It saved me from having to buy replacement parts on these so many times, guys. And then you can just keep the money rolling with them. Now, a regular white Nintendo Wii, you know, I usually just put 50 bucks on them, and I usually try to make sure I'm getting them for around $10 my cost. Now, you might pay up a little bit more for a bundle that has some games with it, and, you know, you can sell the games on the side, no big deal there. But they're cheap, everyone can afford them, and people are still buying them up as soon as you post them online. And really, I just want to make this video to help you guys out. If you are struggling with eBay and these online selling platforms, especially if you're Canadian and you did sell to the United States and stuff, you know, a lot of your business is probably dried up. And there's no better time to just start selling your stuff locally, guys. Start doing cash again. You know, I had gotten out of this. I pretty much was putting everything on eBay that I could. And then I just thought, you know, I want to start selling on Marketplace, see how it goes, see what I can get, and see if it's going to work for me. And I've really found that spreading your stuff out is so beneficial, especially when something like this happens with the US, where you can't ship duty-free anymore and stuff like that. You know, it's worked out awesome for me. I've already been able to pick up one Switch from Tim. He was very generous and sold me his, so I know it works and it's all pristine. Then we're just going to buy another one, and I'll use the cash from my selling for that. Don't be wrong, don't have illusions of grandeur. Facebook Marketplace is not great for everything, as I said in my video. There's lots of stuff that don't sell well on there that I've found, and that's where your online platforms can pick up the slack for you. And on that note, if you've made it this far, I really appreciate it. I hope this does help you sell some more items, guys. As for me, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I got a bunch of stuff going on, so I'm not too worried about it either way. But if it can help you make a little bit more money, then it was worth it. Listen to some podcasts on my way home here. Tomorrow we're going for the big hike, so I'll probably record that and maybe upload on the weekend or something. We'll see. Either way, catch you on the next one. Peace.